Sponsoring this episode of 50 Shades of Motherhood today is me and myself. So aside from doing this podcast, I also have a business called My Bump to Baby, and My Bump to Baby is one of the UK's leading parenting platforms. I launched My Bump to Baby as a blog back in 2016, and I did this on a shoestring budget. I was on maternity leave and I didn't want to go back to work full time. That's the long and short of it. I learned everything there was to know about blogging, and now thousands of parents visit my website every single day, and I earn an incredible income through my blog as a result. The great thing about blogging is that you can work in your own time and at your own pace, and the sky is literally your limit when it comes to growing your income through blogging. The great thing about blogging is I now can enjoy my life doing whatever I want during the day, and parents are automatically finding my blog through search engines, generating me an income whilst I am busy enjoying life. If you love the idea of launching your own passive income blog, you can access my course in the link below. This is where I share all of my secrets on the blogging formula to success. If you would like access to all of my training, all of my email templates, all of my checklists, my media kits, and so much more, you can click the link below. And if you're ready to start blogging today, you can use the code 50, FIFTY, all in capital letters, for a massive 15% off my course today. I hope to see you over there. Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of 50 Shades of Motherhood. This week I am joined by my lovely friend Katie Mason again, and this time we're going to be talking about her area of expertise, which is health and fitness and working out and eating healthy around being a mum. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you've got any questions, send us a message, or send Katie a message, because she knows everything about this topic. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of 50 Shades of Motherhood. Today I am talking to my lovely friend Katie, who is our guest appearance on this season's episode of 50 Shades of Motherhood. Does that make sense? Oh no, that makes no sense at all.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, you know
yeah.
what I mean. It's
On
been a
all
long
episodes,
morning.
it has.
Yeah, it's been a long morning. So, Katie, today we're going to be talking all about something you know a lot about, health and fitness after having a baby. So,
Yes.
we're going to
Yeah.
pick your brains today.
Please feel free. Yes. Whatever you need to know.
So, Katie, Clay now is how old?
He is 4 months old.
4 months old. So you're getting back to it, because this morning I'd messaged you about the podcast and you're like, yeah, I missed my run this morning. I thought, God, I'm still like using this excuse of like, I've just had a baby. She's a year old. So I need to get myself back into focusing on exercise as well, because it does make you feel so much better.
It does. And it's different for everyone, isn't it? For like exercise means different things to different people. And for me, it's quite important because I find my mental health is so much better when I exercise. In fact, it's integral to my mental health. It's really important. I don't feel myself if I don't exercise. So obviously I'm quite lucky in that way, because it will always drive me to do it, which I know for some people that's not always the case. But there is no right or wrong time to go back to exercise, really, after you've had a baby, whether they're 4 months, 6 months, a year. But it always boils down to, obviously, if you feel fit and healthy, your mental health's going to be better, isn't it? It's the platform for feeling good, being healthy, isn't it? So
Oh, definitely. Do you know, my problem is I'm lazy. Yeah, so as I think my energy's in the morning, and then like throughout the day, I feel like by night time, I can't even I'm just absolutely exhausted. So that's
yeah.
the time that I would normally exercise. So my thing is fitting it around Olivia, because at the moment Olivia isn't in childcare.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I did have my brother around last night who trained me, but actually do it, I was thinking, oh, I hope he cancels. I hope he cancels.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I feel great. I really do. So it's just kind of trying to fit it into your routine day to day as well, isn't it? Really, after you have a baby, because
Yeah,
you've got the
100%.
baby glued to you all the time, don't you?
That's it. And 9 times out of 10, you are going to feel better after that exercise session, whether it's a short walk or an hour in the gym, whatever it is. 9 times out of 10, you will feel better. On the odd occasion, maybe your night's sleep's been that hideous, it's not going to help. But you'll be surprised that even when you've had a really bad night with the baby, that bit of exercise can turn your day around. So
Mm.
it's worth giving it a go. And if you feel like halfway through the session, like this isn't happening, then go and sit and have a coffee for the rest of the time. But the thing is, allocating that time to yourself in your week, whether it's 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days, depending on, like you say, fitting it in around the baby, that is time for yourself. And it's really important to make you feel good and also to just start rebuilding after the toll that pregnancy and having a baby, childbirth, and those sleepless nights in the beginning are inevitably going to take on your body, because they're going to take some toll. So it's a case of rebuilding from the ground up, I think, after having a baby, no matter what your fitness level was like before. um
Mm.
it's putting those foundations back in place and not putting too much pressure on that exercise has to be this big thing from the get-go. We can build it up slowly, can't we?
Yeah, you're right. I think that's it really. It's just kind of getting moving and actually and realizing that you enjoy it and then moving a bit more, isn't it really? Um,
Yeah.
but pram walks, I mean, you go on quite a lot of pram walks, don't you?
Yeah, I've said before, I think I love putting my headphones on, putting a podcast on. I can see my baby's yawning, he's getting ready for a sleep. And for me, I mean, I've not got the sleep thing nailed with Clay yet at all. But if I
No.
go for a walk, he will sleep whilst I'm walking. So that works really well for me. And I've got that little bit of time to switch off. I've realized, and I knew this about myself anyway, but if I'm stuck in the house all day, and I say stuck in the house. Some people love staying in the house all day, but for me, I feel stuck
No,
in the
no,
house.
I don't actually. I know exactly what you're going to say. Go on.
Yeah, but if I get out the house, I am a different person. I've got a spring in my step. I smile more. I'm nicer
Yeah.
to be around. Whereas if I stay in all day, like, don't get me wrong, occasionally a day of rest does me good and I'm happy for it. But most of the time, if I stay in all day, I get doom and gloom. That would be the baby blues for me if I was in the house, housebound day in, day out. So,
Yeah, that's exactly what I did early days with George initially, because that's when I started my business. Initially, because I was that adamant, like, right, I'm not going back to work full time. I want to do this. So when he slept, I worked, and I stayed in the house a lot. And that for your mental health is is awful.
yeah,
I really felt so down, and I didn't know why. And I imagine a lot of it is because I stayed in the house. A lot of the time, I wouldn't get dressed.
yeah,
I wouldn't get ready for the day. So by the time Danny came home, I mean, I was still in my pajamas. I
yeah,
felt depressed. I felt really down. My anxiety levels were at an all-time high, and that is probably from just not having a bit of a routine. Whereas now, second time around with Olivia, I have to get out of the house because I've got to get George to school. So I
yeah.
get up, I get showered, and it's a lot more of a positive start to my day.
Of course, yeah,
But when you don't have to get out of the house, it's so easy when you've had a rubbish night's sleep, like you say, to
yeah,
just be like, oh, I'm tired. I'm just going to sleep when the baby sleeps, or I'm just going to stay in. And
yeah.
actually, I don't think that does great for your mind,
No, it doesn't.
really.
And especially if you get into a cycle of it. So, say the odd night you have a particularly, like I said earlier, a really bad night. If the opportunity's there to catch an extra 45 minutes before you get up and get out, then do it. The baby's having his morning nap, have a sleep, then get ready and go out. But don't let it write your whole day off if you can. The endorphins that you get just from moving, being out in the fresh air, the sun being on your face, seeing a few people, interacting a little bit, whether it's to walk into your local coffee shop and buy a drink to have on the go. All of those things just kind of normalize your life, don't they? Rather than when you're in all the time and you're not seeing anyone, that can be really difficult. But going back to the exercise itself, we can feel guilty as well, can't we? We can feel like, oh, I've got my baby to look after. I'm on maternity leave. This is my job now, looking after the baby for these next 6 months, 7 months, or whatever it might be. And we tend to sort of think, well, I haven't got anyone else to look after the baby, so I can't exercise. But if you actually think about it, there's so many people usually who are dying to just have like an hour with your baby, whether it's your parents, your in-laws, your sister, your best friend, and they can come round to your house. It doesn't have to be a big upheaval, packing bags and going places. For me, it's easier to take Clay to my mum's because she likes to be at home and she's got all her little jobs she can get on with while she has a nap or whatever. So that works for me. And it's only sort of twice a week at the moment. And then a couple of mornings I get out for a run whilst my partner's getting ready for work, which he loves. I'm like, there's the baby.
Oh,
He's having
yeah.
a shower. He's got Clay in like the bouncy chair whilst he's having a shower, having his shave. But you've got to roll with the punches, haven't you? That's his time to look after him so I can exercise.
So would you ever exercise in the evening then? It sounds like you do yours in the morning and daytime. How are you in
Yeah.
the evening?
I'm like you. So what I was going to say earlier when you said you start with your energy in the morning and it sort of whittles off as the day goes on. That's me as well. If I exercise late at night, I am dragging myself through that workout and I'm not feeling it. Some people are the other way around. We've all got an optimum time, haven't we, to spend our energy. And for me, it's in the earlier part of the day up till about 3 p.m. After 3 p.m., I'm pretty done. But that's not always going to fit in with the baby and the childcare, isn't it? My advice is take the childcare when you can get it. So
Mm.
if your partner can only watch the baby in the evening, go and do that gym session, even if it's half of what you want it to be. You'll soon start to get used to that routine and start to feel a little bit more lively in that time of day. And just take the opportunity while someone else is prepared to watch the baby for you. Don't feel guilty about it. Even if it's a walk or a very relaxed swim, it's something for you, isn't it?
It is, and you do need that time. You really do. Away from
Yeah.
your baby as well, if you can, because I mean, at the moment, you know what I'm like. I would say I'm probably a bit too attached to Olivia. Like, I don't like leaving her at all. I really don't. I just like, maybe, I don't know whether, maybe it was the journey there, but I just like being with her all the time.
That's what
So,
it's all about, though, isn't
yeah,
it?
so it's ridiculous, really, because it sounds so bad because when I say this, if you had me on this podcast like 5 years ago when George was a baby, I was the opposite way around. And I feel so guilty because you feel like a different parent. You've changed a lot, haven't you? And you've grown up a lot and things have happened in between. And when you've been desperate for that second baby, I think I don't know, but I don't like leaving her anywhere. So if we do exercise, I've got my garage gym kind of thing. So I can take
Yeah.
her in there. Sounds a bit cruel. She's in a pram and stuff. In the early days, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I'd take her in there and she'd be quite happy. I'd just put the TV on and you've got a treadmill and stuff in there. But as well, you can exercise with your baby. So if childcare isn't an option, you can get some dumbbells, can't you, at home, put a workout on the TV. You ran an online um
Yeah. My
challenge.
online challenge was so popular with women who had children under the age of 4, like before they were at school, for that very reason, because sometimes there isn't anyone, like you might not live near your parents for whatever reason, you have to manage that yourself. And the online challenge had live workouts that you could join, but I also recorded them, and the participants in the challenge could do them at any time of day that suited them. So there was a fresh workout every day, so it didn't get boring, but they could fit it in around the baby's nap or early morning, late at night, whatever was better. And you'll be surprised how effective exercise from home can be with like the most minimal amount of equipment. So just a set of dumbbells, couple of resistance bands, and you can get a really good, glute workout or upper body workout, a core workout. So easy. You don't need any equipment for that. And then I used to say to them, do your cardio separately. So if you want to go for a walk, that's your cardio. If you can go for a little run outside at some point in the day, that can be your cardio. You see people now with these running prams, and I know that can seem a little bit extreme, but running along with a running pram, if you're a little bit more advanced with your exercise and you were running beforehand, that's a great idea. But what you said, prop the baby up in the chair or the pram. They don't have to be asleep. They can be quite happy to watch you. You can make it entertaining for them, can't you? Talk to them throughout. And, a little goes a long way, 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I work from home. So when Olivia is asleep, I am very guilty of if I am on a pram walk, I'll be like, get home quickly, because I've got things to do. That's my time to work, really. So now I'm doing around 10 hours a week, which is great. But that time when Olivia is asleep, that's my time where I work. So getting out for a walk for me would mean later in the day, really, when she is awake, utilizing the awake time a little bit more, really. But I know
Yeah.
some parents who like to get a few bits done, or they might have a program that they really want to catch up on during that time and stuff. So it's just kind of working out what works for everyone, because everyone's different, aren't they, with how they want to spend their time.
Yeah, 100%. And you can say to yourself, right, exercise isn't my favorite thing, okay, but I'm going to do it 3 times a week. And
Yeah.
then you might get someone else who loves exercise and they're going to do it 6 times a week because that helps them mentally. If that's not your bag, then just try and allocate enough time so that your baseline, fitness is covered. And
Mm.
hopefully, I mean, for me, it's also, it feeds into my life experience, if that makes sense. So if I feel fit and healthy, my general life experience is better. Like I
Yeah,
said
I
earlier,
love that. Yeah, I know exactly
like
what you
that.
mean. Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah, I smile more. I feel better in my clothes. I'll put an outfit on and think, right, I'm ready to go. Whereas if I'm not fit or in shape, like I'm not saying being in super shape, I'm just saying feeling good in my own
Well,
skin.
feeling in your own self, being happy with how you feel and look, I guess.
Yeah, and I think we also have this bit of guilt that it's vain, that we shouldn't think like that when we've got children. We should be like, oh, okay, I'm happy that my body is whatever it is because I've got children. Well, yes, that is a side to it. Our bodies has done something amazing. We've produced a child, and it will be different afterwards. However, if it's important for your mental health to feel good, then it does feed into your life experience. Because if you ignore it and push it aside, then it's going to be on your mind, isn't it? I don't feel great. Oh, I've got nothing to wear. Oh, I'm wearing this outfit because it'll do, not because I feel good in it. And then
Yeah.
you're automatically in like a bit of a negative mindset about yourself before you've even stepped out the front door, aren't you?
You're so right, because it's not just then the exercise and that moment, it's everything afterwards, isn't it? Like you said, that might
Yeah.
change me. No,
Oh, yeah.
I do. To be honest, I do feel good after exercise. My thing is just actually getting in there and getting it done,
Yeah.
because I'm not one of these people that has found my thing that I absolutely love yet.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean by
Yeah,
that?
you're
I
not
mean, like,
like, I've found Pilates or I've found, I'll play netball instead of going to
yeah.
the gym. You've not found that one
I've
thing that
not
that
found
does
that
you.
thing, and I feel like I'm looking for that thing, but that thing I can't find it sat on the sofa eating stuff
Yeah.
in my face, basically. So I need to actually do it. I mean, I did like running. I did the Couch to 5K a bit ago, actually, and that was really good and that was enjoyable. Like you said, putting the headphones in, and I
Yeah.
actually ran. This will make you laugh, actually. So me and Danny had a bit of an argument outside where we got married, actually, weirdly. I can't remember what it was about. It was about where we parked the car. I can't. It was the most stupid thing. Anyway, I had been doing Couch to 5K for a little while. I didn't think I was that good at it at that time. Anyway, it was a really busy day, and me being me stormed off in a mood. And then I turned around and I couldn't see them anywhere, Danny or George. And I was like, oh, for God's sake. Anyway, so I ran all the way home from the White Church, which probably is about a good 3 miles. Didn't stop once. Anyway,
Hey,
when
well
Danny
done.
came and he was looking, my battery had gone on my phone as well. And when Danny came home, I was like, oh, so worried. I was looking for you everywhere. I said to him, "Thanks. I'm so glad we had that argument, because I didn't realize I could run that far, and I was so happy." That was the
In that
happiest I've ever been. Yeah, after an argument, I mean, during an argument, because
in that
normally, yeah,
that diva moment, your diva drop led you to your
yeah.
best run ever.
Oh my God, it really did.
But the thing with
Yeah.
things like Couch to 5K, they're target driven, aren't they? So
Mm.
sometimes starting an exercise plan, or say you've not got a plan, that in itself is very daunting, isn't it? It's thinking, right, I'm going to do some exercise. Okay, where do I start? Should I be doing more after 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Like, now it's getting boring. What should I do to mix it up? So having like a goal, and I'll say this to someone, like, regardless of whether they've had a baby or not, just generally deciding to get fit, like January, perfect time. I'm going to get fit. Having a goal like a holiday or a wedding, or you're going to be a bridesmaid, or there's a party that you go into that you want to feel good at, and just writing that down, that date, and then kind of working backwards from that goal is a really good place to start. So if you're saying, okay, in 3 months, I want to have lost half a stone, then you work out how many pounds. I work in pounds and stones. I'm sorry for the
No, that's
kilogram
better
people
for
out
me because
there.
I do not understand the other one at all. I
Well, I
don't.
have to work in kilograms, but I still revert to talking about pounds and stones because it's that's what's in my head. But you work backwards. So in 3 months, you want to have lost half a stone. So you're losing about 2, 3 pounds. No, what is that? £2 a month? Yeah, just over about £2.5 a month. And that equates to a pound every 2 weeks, for example. Ignore my maths. But then you can work out from that, okay, I need to be exercising this amount of times. I'm going to track my calories on an app like MyFitnessPal and make sure I lose that £1 a week. And then by the time I go to that wedding or go on that holiday, I'm going to have achieved what I set out to. And that's always a really good way to break it down. And from there, you can then decide to lose £1 a week. This is the exercise I'm going to choose. I'm going to go swimming or I'm going to walk. And it can just help you formulate a little plan.
Yeah, I think that's what I like. I like to be challenged and I like a bit of a plan. So some of you might be similar to me in the sense of if I just woke up and be like, oh, let's go exercise, I'd be like, right, well, what shall I do? Whereas if I've got a target and it's a bit of a challenge, that fires me up a little bit more. And yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, the food obviously comes into it as well. I mean, eating. We've briefly spoke about this because obviously when you're pregnant, everything slows down a little bit. Things get a bit harder, to go to the bathroom sometimes. So what is the best kind of way to eat, structure a diet? If you, I mean, obviously, if you not don't have time to exercise, it's still good to eat healthy, isn't it? But if you can do the two together, even better.
Yeah, of course. And again, it feeds back to mental health. So if you imagine your body is like a house, and during pregnancy, you've rented the house out, someone else has been in there, and they've
A
taken
pig. I would say honestly, I was like a pig during there. So
well, they've taken everything they can and they've left, they've sucked out all your nutrients, you're left kind of a little bit depleted, aren't you? So having a good foundation, a good baseline health is a really good way of rebuilding your house, if you like. So I always look at, first of all, eating regularly, like little and often. There's so many fad diets out there where people say, I'm eating within this window in the afternoon. I've got like 2 hours to have all my calories, or 6 hours, or whatever. When you've got a young child or a family or a busy job or a busy life, you just need to fuel and sustain a good level of energy throughout all the things you've got to do in a day. So for me, that means having a healthy breakfast, a mid-morning snack, lunch, a mid-afternoon snack, and a nice evening meal, not too late at night. And that way, you drip feeding your body with good, sustainable energy throughout the day. So you never get to the point where you're going to crash and burn and think, oh my God, I'm starving. Like, what's that? It's 4 o'clock. I've not eaten anything. Give me them Maltesers.
that is
You
me. That is me. No, but that's when I was missing breakfast because you want to keep your calories down on some diets. So it is a calories in, calories out type thing anyway,
course.
isn't it? Of
Yes.
course.
Yeah.
But that is where I've never been hungry for breakfast. So I used to skip breakfast.
Yeah.
And that would be like, and then I'd have lunch and I'd have my dinner. But honestly, what you've said there, I'd always get to that point. It would usually be around 2, 3 p.m. in the afternoon that I'd
Yeah.
hit that. Oh my God, give me anything. Give me anything.
Yeah.
I'd go to that vending machine at work. There was a vending machine in the morning. I was like, yeah, you're not going to get me today. I've got no change on me. But then they started accepting contactless, which is worse. And then, but anyway, I'd go with the best mindset. But by 2, 3 p.m., I was there. And I was
Yeah.
not getting 1 bar, I was getting about 4 and just eating
Yeah.
them in a row, and I thought
Yeah.
I had a binge eating problem, actually. You know me, because
No.
I
Yeah.
overthink everything. I was like, "Oh my god, there's something wrong with me," but you have explained this to me before, but please explain again why we get
Yeah.
that way. If
Well,
anyone else does, I hope they do, because
yeah,
otherwise eh
honestly, I do nutrition consultations with people, and I'd say 1 in 2 people, if not more, have this issue. So it's the 3 p.m. or the 9 p.m. crash and burn.
I have
And
both. I
right,
have both
okay.
of those,
And
yeah.
you can pretty much bet your bottom dollar that if you're going to crash and burn, it's between 2 and 3, or it's at like 8, 9 at night. And the reason being is because we utilize carbohydrates during the day for energy. So we must have carbohydrates to fuel our actions. So our walking, cooking, cleaning, looking after the baby all requires energy. So the carbohydrates that you eat, things like your cereal in the morning, your porridge, your toast, your pasta, your rice, all those things are going to fuel your day. Now, if you go about your day without any carbohydrates, you might have a little bit left in your muscle from the night before, whatever you ate for your tea. You're going to start burning through those carbohydrates. You haven't replaced them by breakfast. So you're then starting to run on no carbohydrates. You don't replace them by lunch, and you keep going and going. And by 3 o'clock, your body goes, whoa, hang on. I can't do any more because I don't have any carbohydrates. So you then release a hunger hormone. Your brain starts to secrete a hunger hormone, which goes quickly, get some sugar, because sugar is the fastest form of carbohydrate. So you, when you eat chocolate, that's going to hit your bloodstream within 30 minutes. Whereas if you then go, oh my God, I've missed my carbohydrates, I'm going to eat some porridge, that's going to take a lot longer. You've missed the window to get it into your bloodstream and your muscle before you've needed it. So because it's too late, your body craves the thing that's going to be most effective fastest. Chocolate, fizzy sweets, hot chocolate drinks, anything sugary that's going to give you a quick pick me up, because you've gone too far. You've missed the point of managing it, in a better, more nutritious, slow release sort of way. Does that make sense?
Wow, that
I
that
can
is really
waffle.
it's no, that's really useful because I think a lot of people would not realize that because I've actually done a diet before. I've done all of the diets actually, failed them all miserably. But I've done a diet before where it's like literally no carbs. And yes, I did actually lose weight, but I felt ill, really
Yeah.
ill. And
It
I
can affect you
actually,
mentally as well, having no carbs.
oh
And
my
you get
goodness,
some really bad
honestly.
brain fog from
It was
that.
awful. It was awful. I felt awful, but I had lost a bit of weight. But then, like you said, then does it eat into your muscles then? You know, if you
So
are,
the reason why people lose weight quickly when they drop carbs, and say for example someone's got a night out on Friday and they need
yeah.
to get in an outfit, and they know full well they've done it time and time again, having no carbs, they'll fit in that outfit. And it's because um, carbohydrates are stored in water in the muscle. It's something like if there's a particle of a carbohydrate, there's 2 particles of water holding it in the muscle. So when you burn that carbohydrate up, those 2 particles of water drop away and you wee them out. So you'll probably find when you do low carb, you wee lots as well, because all this water's leaving your system. So we feel less puffy. We feel we've de-bloated, and we feel thinner because of it. But it's false economy, because that's only going to leave your body until the water's gone. And then after that point, you will still lose weight because you're in a calorie deficit, but you'll more than likely feel like you've said, feel like shit in the process, because you've got nothing fueling your body and you've got nothing fueling your brain. So you're kind of just flailing around existing, without any any
Yeah.
direction or energy to do anything. And it's not a nice feeling.
Oh,
So
it's awful.
as much as there are these like ketogenic diets out there and that is the basis of them, personally, I would always go with, balance your nutrition over a day, make sure you're in a calorie deficit at the end of the day. You can't lose.
No, that's brilliant advice. So in terms of, making sure you've got a balanced diet, so obviously healthy breakfast, healthy most of the time. Obviously,
Yeah.
you might have the odd slip up.
Yeah.
But what about vitamins then? Do they kind of come into it as well? Do you take vitamins or should you be getting all of that from your food?
So this is always like a bit of a debate point for lots of people, because there are a number of people who are scared of vitamins because they're putting something in the mouth that resembles a tablet, a medication, for example. They think, no, I shouldn't need that. I should be able to get everything from my diet. And you can eat a very well-rounded, healthy, optimum diet by including loads of fruit and veggies, making sure you get your protein and your carbs and some healthy fats. And from that, your body will get all the little nutrients that it needs. However, if you can tell me that you are perfect every single day and you do that, you eat a well balanced diet, you get all your variety of different fruits and veggies, and you've thought about every single micronutrient that your body might need, and you've managed to eat that, then I will, there's a wager in there from me somewhere. Just put it that way, because
Mm.
it's not really practical, and I don't really think it's possible, if I'm honest. Like, yeah, someone might do it as a challenge, but we're living our lives here. We're looking at what's going to fit in around our lives with ease. So, vitamins and supplements will help to bolster that and to boost your baseline health. So, for example, if you take a multivitamin and your body needs 5 vitamins out of that and there's 20 in it, it's only going to excrete the ones it doesn't need. You're just going to wee them out. Your wee might be bright orange that afternoon, and then you didn't need everything in that vitamin. But the ones that you did need, your body's absorbed them. So you've got more of an optimum baseline health. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're kind of it's like our backup plan. And if you are deficient in something, then you are topping that up without having to eat ridiculous amounts of, like, say, for example, you're deficient in vitamin C, you'd have to eat like 30 oranges in a day to top that up. Well, in that tablet, you've done that by just remembering to take it in the morning.
That's
So
great.
for me, they're really important, vitamins, and I'll always say I feel better when I take vitamins because I genuinely feel it in myself, and when I don't, I can tell.
So what type of vitamins do you think new parents and parents in general should be taking then?
So this is for everyone. Um, Always take a good quality multivitamin. Please don't scrimp on the price. Don't go to Body Care and buy that one that's 2.99 off the shelf, because it's going to be a poor quality with really low doses of everything in it. So invest. Look for a good brand. Um, Once you've got a good multivitamin, I would have a vitamin C alongside it, because vitamin C is necessary to absorb the other vitamins and it stops us from getting ill. So, bonus, boost your immune system. So, your multivitamin, your vitamin C. If you're a vegetarian or you don't eat much red meat, a B12 or a B complex, because that will boost your energy and stop you getting fatigued. And I could talk about red meat in more detail, but let's just brush
Yeah.
over that for the vitamins' sake and say if you don't have much, have a B12.
What's
Everybody in the
much, would you say? Would you say that's once a week or
So eating red meat, I'd say twice a week is good to boost your iron levels and your B vitamins. But you can go too far with it. You can have it with every single meal. You might get high cholesterol. There's links to cancer and things from too much red meat. So for me, like a pescatarian diet, like a Mediterranean diet, lots of fish. I mean, I don't eat fish, I'm a veggie, but I would say eat your fish. Oily fishes, olive oil, fresh veggies, and nice light carbohydrates like rice, grains, things like that. Try and avoid the stodgy things that are going to make you feel lethargic, like lots and lots of bread, pasta, that sort of thing.
chips?
Just have them in moderation. You don't have to say they're the devil, you can't have them, but have them in moderation. And other
Yeah.
vitamins, when you live in the UK, as we do, vitamin D, really important, because you only get that from the sun. And that's only if your arms or your legs are exposed to the sun for at least 15 minutes a day. So that's not happening, is it, in the winter in the UK?
Don't
So
even
we
think it's happening in the summer, to be honest with you.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So the majority of people in the UK have low vitamin D, if not borderline or deficiency. So get a vitamin D. I get a spray. So I get a vitamin D spray. It's quite a high dosage, and I spray it under my tongue every morning. So for anyone who doesn't like taking the big capsules, a spray is a good way. You can get all your vitamins more or less in a spray version as well.
God, that sounds
Um,
great.
yeah. And then
I
the
didn't know
last
you
one,
could get sprays for
yeah,
vitamins.
they tend to be higher doses of things when someone needs like a higher dose of something. But again, you're not going to overdo it. Your body will excrete what it doesn't need, unless you like spray the whole bottle in one morning. I wouldn't advise doing that. But if you have the recommended dose, those recommended doses on the back are the minimum. So when it says RDA, your recommended daily allowance, that's the minimum. So if you're just taking that, you're not going to harm yourself. It's the minimum that you need to function. So, fill your boots.
For our pregnant listeners, what would you recommend they take? Would it be a pregnancy vitamin where it's all in one, or?
Yeah, you get recommended you get advised, should I say, to take prenatal vitamins. And they'll be just the same as a multivitamin, except they remove vitamin A and maybe anything else that could be detrimental to the developing baby. Don't be afraid to take your vitamins because of those things. Make sure it's a prenatal one. They're all branded. There's some really good ones out there. Throughout my pregnancy, I took a brand called Proceive, and they did a first trimester, a second trimester, and a third trimester vitamin. And then I went on to the postnatal ones, which I'm still taking because they're good for breastfeeding. So if you have your baby and you're breastfeeding, just carry on with your prenatal ones. Just keep taking them all the way throughout. Also, a good omega blend. So that's like your cod liver oil. It helps your brain function. It helps your metabolism in your body and oils your joints and all that kind of thing. And the Proceive do a prenatal one of those as well, which again I'm still taking because I'm breastfeeding. So um, that's a good brand.
It's just remembering. I've got vitamins and I've got those little days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
I forget. Do you know? I
yeah,
really do forget. And I should probably put them when I brush my teeth or something like that. So it's in a place that I kind of link it together. But it is
yeah.
important to remember to take them. Maybe I need a reminder on my phone.
Yeah, but you've got to build it into your routine. It can't be like this ad hoc remember, like at any point during the day. So it's got to be like either you wake up the next to the bed, or you brush your teeth the next to the sink, or you have your breakfast. They're there on
They're
the counter.
there.
So it's got to be one of those things that you do at the start of the day and do it every day. Because once you start, your day is underway. You're going to forget, and it's not going to happen.
After pregnancy, how long should we be waiting to exercise? Obviously not as long as me, which is like a year, but in general, how long should we wait?
It's completely unique depending on your birth experience. So, I mean, they don't give you a sign off at the doctor anymore, do they? So
No.
it's a case of either 6 weeks or when you're completely healed. So if you're not healed at 6 weeks, just wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And again, build it up. It doesn't have to be, oh my God, I had a baby 6 weeks ago, I should be exercising. Just do your pelvic floor exercises, or take 10 minutes a day to do your pelvic floor exercises and a little bit of glute activation, like some bridges, or you can find all stuff like that online, early exercises after having a baby. And there's loads of recommendations out there. And once you feel comfortable with those and you start feeling stronger, then add another layer. Okay, I'm going to go up from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, and I'm going to do some cardio now as well. And it can take you a year just to get up to a normal amount of exercise again. That's fine. As long as you're building it up at your own pace and you're doing something and working with your body, then you're going to get there, aren't you, eventually?
Yeah, and I like how you've said about for your mental health as well, because for some people, they've got the baby, they don't have anything planned, and they're happy with their baby. But exercise in general, it's good for us, isn't it? So it is important for us to do it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like that house that you've rented out. It's like the roof on the house. Your mental health's the bottom of the roof. Your nutrition and your sleep and your water and everything else is that side of the roof. And the third side of the roof is your exercise. And it all links together, and it all it holds you up and makes you feel good.
That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, yeah. Because the thing is, I mean, I don't know how much weight you put on during your pregnancy, and I know it's something really we shouldn't compare because everyone is different. But I think I put on 3 stone. Did I? 2 stone, maybe 2 stone. But at the time you think, oh my goodness, it's going to take so long to like lose this. But if you
Yeah.
can kind of get in a healthier routine with food going forward, it can come off quite quick, can't it?
I think it can, but I think the key is don't expect miracles and to like look in the mirror and see the person who was there before you were pregnant, because your body has been through something. And ultimately, if we get a nice routine with exercise and food and we're more conscious of it than before we were pregnant, we can end up feeling even better eventually. You
Mm.
know, we can refurbish that house and end up with a new revised model that we actually really like. So I wouldn't feel like there's a time frame on it or you have to be in a rush. I just think, yeah, if you're doing something and you're working towards it, you got to give yourself a pat on the back, and it's worth it.
Yeah, because I mean, I do see a lot of people, when it comes to celebrities and they've had a baby and then all of a sudden they're out there in this bikini and you think, what the hell? Like, how are they like
Yeah,
that? Sometimes I don't think that does very well for people because I think you think, oh my goodness, why does she look like that? And I don't look like that. And you can compare yourself to these people
yeah.
online, which a lot of them heavily edit their images, don't they?
Course they do. Some people won't put a picture on without editing it. You've got to remember that, and be realistic. And remember that you can stand at a good angle and wear a flattering outfit and hide that bit in your tummy that's still a little pouch. And all of these things are going on those pictures. So don't think for one second they've got it together and you haven't, because it isn't the case. They're just portraying,
Mm.
an image. And if they are like springing back into shape, they've probably got a personal trainer going around every day whilst the nanny looks after the baby and the chef prepares, the balanced diet for the day. So
Yeah.
you got to give yourself a break. They're in a different league, some people, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Absolutely, they are. Although we've got a few friends that have bounced back. I mean, you bounced back quite quick, didn't you? Really, but
Well, no, I am currently, like you say, we shouldn't compare ourselves, but I'm still about 2 stone over my normal weight.
yeah.
Because obviously you've heard my birth story. When I fell pregnant, my conception story, should I say, when I fell pregnant with Clay, because of like different tablets and having a miscarriage and so on, I was a stone over my normal weight already. And
Mm.
then I had pregnancy, etc., on top of that. So I've got a bit of work to do, and I don't mind that. And even
No,
being personal trainer, I'm not going to say, I was perfect through my pregnancy, exercised through my pregnancy, ate perfect. I didn't. I listened to my body. When I felt like it was time to taper off the exercise, I did. When I wanted to eat cheese toasties, I did. You
yeah.
know, so I've still got work to do now, and I'll do it. I'm not overstressed about it. It's just going to take a bit of time.
That's brilliant. No, it's a good mindset that, and it is important not to compare ourselves or feel like we should be back to how we were before because our bodies have changed and they have been through a lot. And when you're sleep deprived, oh my goodness, like you can crave so much,
Yeah,
can't you, in those first few months? Um, I mean, even I say first few months, even now, I was looking at a picture on Facebook yesterday. I don't know why. And I get texts from Domino's. Do you know it's texts from Domino's come through around 3 p.m. around that
they
time?
do that.
Oh, they
Yes, they
do.
do,
They
don't they?
get
They're
me. They get
naughty.
me. But yeah, it's like all of a sudden that time hits and you start to see all these blooming takeaways, pizzas, and you think, oh, I don't want to cook tonight. So for me personally, I'm doing dry January at the moment actually because it's so easy to when you're staying in weekends and you've got children to just be like, oh, should we have a bottle of wine? Should we have a bottle of wine again? Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday,
yeah.
and lead into
And
Sunday because
Sunday.
there's some left on a Sunday. So
Yeah,
so I'm doing dry January. I feel really good for it actually. I really do. I
yeah,
didn't realize how much better you do feel once you
yeah.
kind of
And
that.
again, like going back to like having a normal balanced life, we go out, we have fun, and we enjoy ourselves. That's important. It's important to blow off some steam, to see your friends, or go out for a meal with your partner. But if you are serious about needing to drop a few pounds and you've got a time frame and a goal, cutting out alcohol really speeds things up. It speeds
Mm.
up. It's known to speed up your metabolism because your liver isn't constantly working on detoxing your body and getting rid of the alcohol out your system so it can function much better, and your metabolism will sort of pick up the longer that you don't
Mm.
drink for.
That's really good. Yeah, I mean, I said to Danny, we got in a situation really, I think it was really COVID, during COVID, when you were in a bit more. I mean, he was making these he became a cocktail making machine, my husband.
I'm
Honestly, they were just
mixologist.
amazing. They were just amazing. I think that's when alcohol slowly started entering the house a bit more. Because before that, we'd never really have alcohol in the house. It was something that we did. We went out and had a drink and things like that. And then when you've got children, I think because you can't just go out for a meal or you can't just go to the cinema and have a bit of a date night. A date night sometimes consists of a bottle of wine and a nice meal, doesn't it? Because there
Yeah.
isn't loads that you can do in the house, really. And slowly the alcohol started creeping into our lives, and that just became the norm, really. Every weekend, oh, should we get our bottle of wine? And and it just does. You don't realize though how groggy you feel when you're living in that alcohol world. Do you know what I mean? When you
Yeah,
drink on a
it's the
weekend,
cycle.
yeah,
Yeah.
you think you just feel groggy because
Yeah. Do you
because
know,
but
and
actually I feel so much better for it now. Yeah.
yeah, and I'd recommend to anyone not to look at it like they're being deprived of something they love, just to look at it like that thing that you enjoy, that's obviously got a lot of calories in it and it's making you feel groggy, is it's on hold for now. So at the end of January, you're going to have a drink. It's not left your life forever, has it? But in the meantime, you're going to achieve that short-term goal of dropping a few pounds, feeling better in January. And it's really important to be able to separate the things that you think are a treat and that you enjoy, in that sense, from being able to achieve your goals. Because I've had loads of ladies come to me before and they've done the consultation and they drink a bottle of wine every night. So, when you're saying Friday, Saturday, that's nothing.
Well,
There's
and Sunday. I was trying to keep a bit back. So half
yeah,
the week,
just yeah,
basically.
yeah, basically half. But there's a lot of people who are doing that every night and they try to achieve the fitness goals without letting go of it. And I still want to drink my bottle of wine a night, but I want to be 2 dress sizes smaller. Unfortunately, it's not the way it works. It's not going to happen. I've had to like take lots of different approaches with people before, but you get to the odd time where you've just got to say, you're not going to achieve this unless you stop drinking every night, because you won't feel your best. You won't have the best energy for your exercise. Your workouts aren't going to be as efficient. And you're also probably having double the amount of calories a day because you're topping it up with wine.
Mm,
So I'm not saying it's a sin. God, no. We've all got to have fun, haven't we? And enjoy
yeah.
ourselves. But when it's become a crutch, it's like something you're relying on to relax in the evening, then it's really important to try and address that as well as moving forward with your health and fitness.
So this is a really good time to take a break now. So are you looking for local pregnancy to preschool groups, classes, and lessons to go to with your children? If that's the case, head over to www.mybumptobaby.com where you can find the latest groups and classes in your local area. As well as that, if you are looking for financial advice, family law advice, or a local estate agent, you can also access our family protection and legal directory, www.mybumptobaby.com/family protection legal. So, Katie.
Got the giggles now.
Oh, I know. No, so Katie, in the evening at around like 9 p.m. when you're watching TV and the kids are in bed and you just feel like, oh, I just want something. That is when I would reach for the chocolate. So, what would you say is a good kind of snack to have in at all times that you can just have a little bit of?
Okay. Right. Well, there's two points to this 9 p.m. thing. One is, yes, have those healthy snacks ready, stuff that you can have. And two is the distraction technique, which is always good at night time as well. So sometimes at night we've got the sugar craving because we're tired and we just need to go to bed. Sometimes that's the reason why we've got it. Other times, if we really want to have something, we're staying up to watch telly. Things like, listen, they hold very little nutritional value. They're just to get you through the sugar craving. So please, like, don't crucify me for some of these things because they're not always that perfect on the nutrients, the health. But sugar-free jelly, that's one. It's got a little sweet kick to it. A pot of that, and you might just think that sugar craving's gone and you're over it. There is things like flavored 0% fat Greek yogurt. So you've got a high protein content yogurt with a bit of a sweet edge to it. That can be good. You can get the ice creams, like the Halo Top and the calorie controlled ice creams now, which are really tasty. There's very little point like getting the ones with twice the amount of calories in, because they're really nice. Hot chocolates, the sugar-free hot chocolates, the low calorie options, stuff like that, that can take the edge off. But importantly, making sure that you're hydrated, that you're not just thirsty. So have a nice glass of water, sparkling water, flavored water, whatever you want. And just make sure you're not just thirsty. If you can just go to bed and sleep it off, go to bed and sleep it off. Or if you just need that bit of motivation, think of like, that story you told me once where you were in the changing rooms and you got stuck in those clothes.
Oh, yeah. I thought
That
you might
kind of
drop
thing.
that in. So I will
That
tell
kind
this
of thing.
story just because I wouldn't want anyone else experiencing the same. So I have always been a 10, not always, obviously, when I was a kid, I wasn't a 10, but in my adult life, I've always been a 10. And I've kind of come to the realization that I like being a 10. I'm not bothered for being an 8. And I would like to I feel comfortable at the weight I'm at the moment. I would obviously like to lose a few pounds, but a 10 feels good for me. Anyway, so I was clearly a 12 or 14 at one point, okay? And it wasn't actually that long ago. And I went into my local shop, and I think it was River Island or New Look, I can't remember. Anyway, I wanted to wear this dress, and I thought I'm going to try that on. And when I picked it up, I picked up a 10. And I thought, yeah, I'm a 10, even though I wasn't really a 10, but I am a 10. And I refuse to believe I'm not a 10 because that's the way I am comfortable. Anyway, went into the changing room. Don't think I wore knickers that day anyway, because I don't know why. I was rushing. I can't remember, but basically I just put my leggings on and I just went. So anyway, that was fine. Fully naked. I put the dress on, only I got stuck in it. So I literally got stuck in this dress. I actually thought I was going to die at one point.
Oh,
It was
I hate it.
awful.
It's happened to me so many times, and it gives me instant anxiety. When
Oh,
you realize that you can't get it back off, or,
oh
or,
my
or
goodness.
pull it out, you're just like in the middle. It's halfway around your
I think
face.
it's when you're stuck at that point and it's like suffocating you.
Yeah,
Like
I
when
actually hyperventilate as well.
oh my, it's awful. Well, then I had to get the shopping system. Basically, I had to get it pulled out of this dress. It was so embarrassing.
What
I've
did you
never
do? Like go to the door of the changing room and
Well, I
just
was
go,
going like this, and I was trying to move. In your own house, it's a bit easier, isn't it, to maneuver when you're in a
I'll
little
just
change
rip
room
it.
and there's a curtain. I was forwards, backwards, trying to just get out of this dress, and I was thinking, and you really do panic, don't you? I mean,
Yeah,
it was awful, actually. I
mild panic
honestly,
attack sets in, and
it
you
was like my
realise
life flashed before my eyes. Honestly, it really did. I thought, this is it. I'm going to die. I am going to die. And I was rocking back and forth trying to get this thing off and couldn't. Anyway, the shop assistants came and had to pull me out of this dress. And
you
honestly,
must have been making some noise for all the shop assistants to
it was
come running
it was
over.
awful. It was absolutely awful. Anyway, eventually I got pulled out of it, bearing in mind, no knickers on, anything. I was so embarrassed because I bet they think, why on earth is she trying on our clothes with no knickers on anyway? It's gross.
Where did they pull you out of the dress? So you just had to come out of the cubicle in a couple of them whilst you were naked,
Yeah,
and just like
yeah,
just
yeah. Just pulled
hoisting
it.
you out the clothing.
Pulled it. I mean, at the time, I didn't care. I just wanted to be out of the dress, but afterwards,
Well, it was a
obviously,
life or death
it
moment. So
was.
of
It
course.
was. And so that's what I need to remember when I reach at 9 o'clock for that chocolate,
Yeah,
because
a little
I
a
need
little
to
funny moment like
that
that.
that
Just
was
yourself.
that honestly was frightening. It really was.
Do I want
I don't
death
know if
by suffocation in New Look again?
yeah, imagine ringing my family. Hi, it's Carla Lett. We've got news for Carla Lett. Unfortunately, she suffocated in the changing rooms with a dress, and she's
In
here
a
currently naked because she didn't bother to put knickers on. Oh my God,
please,
honest.
please, can you collect the body?
Can you please collect her? Sorry. Oh God, just imagine having to tell George that. Oh
Listen,
no.
listen though, it's happened to me in changing rooms, and I know loads of people who listening, they'll have been in the same situation. And don't tell me there aren't people out there who just thought, "Sod it, I'm ripping this dress and I'm running."
I
I
know.
I think I probably damaged a dress once or twice trying to get it back off,
Oh, it's
and then
awful, isn't it?
you just put it back on the hanger, don't you?
Oh, and
Sorry to
it's
any
all
shop owners.
misshapen, and it's just like, whoa, just looks like.
And then you just try and get out of there really fast, don't you? Like,
Do you
oh my
not
God,
like the dress? No,
before this.
it nearly killed me. Thanks, bye. Honestly, it's yeah. Anyway, so that is what happened to me, and really, that is something that I should remember when I am thinking of reaching to that, because I do. I'm not. Everyone has a size that they're comfortable with, don't they? I mean, I'm
Of course.
quite short, and
And
I'm quite short, and that for me, I'm comfortable at that size. But whatever your size is that you're comfortable with, so instead of kind of reaching for anything at 9 o'clock, I will just kind of either think in my head about that dress incident, or um or pick something a bit more nutritious, like what you've mentioned. Really, also fruit is quite good at night, isn't it? A bit of fruit.
yeah, exactly. And like I just said, obviously, it don't sit there starving if you are really hungry, but just try and distract yourself, and you'll probably find 9 times out of 10, it was just a craving. Go and get a few jobs done, and by 9:45, you're not hungry, and you could have literally ordered a 3-course takeaway at 9 o'clock. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just all about changing the mood in that moment from sitting there tired thinking about food, I suppose.
Next time, Katie, on this podcast, I think we should talk a little bit about how we feel around our bodies afterwards. Because I think our bodies change so much. Like for me personally, my scar now, because I've had a second C-section, and not everyone experiences this after a second C-section, but I'd say it's probably a little bit more of a dip in now than what it was before. And when I go to put on maybe a tight dress or anything like that, I do feel a little bit insecure. So I think next time I'd like to talk about that, and also how our bodies can change, and we can feel a bit down sometimes. We might feel down about it. We might be really
Yeah.
happy with and embrace our bodies.
Yeah, I
Um,
think, like we said at the start of this episode, I think we live in a society where we're kind of told sometimes we should feel a certain way. Like, either you should feel happy with your body because you're blessed enough to have this beautiful child at the end of it. Okay, I agree. Everyone should feel good, body confident. But what if you're not? What if there are a few things that are still going to get to you after you've been healthy, you've done your exercise, and you just can't accept them and they're getting you down. So I bet there's so many different things out there that people can do, these laser treatments, different creams, things for you, say personally, you're bothered about that scar. There'll be routes and ways for you to feel a bit better about it, won't there?
Yeah, and I think next time maybe what we should do is talk about a few different ways to make them feel better. And also, I would like to talk about how I opted for a boob job after George, and the reasons why I actually had a boob job after George. And we've discussed potentially you having your second
I
one.
am definitely having my second boob job.
Yeah.
And that is because my boob's around my waist. I've breastfed 2 children. Yes, I did have a boob job in between, but it was 11 years ago. So I'm ready really to revisit that myself. And again, like, that's just me personally. Somebody else might not feel like that, but I definitely want to get my boobs up a good 3 inches. So
Yeah, yeah.
let's see what we can find out about that.
Yeah, I think it's something we should definitely touch on, and it's great. I mean, I think there's so many people out there that are confident afterwards, and to be honest, I'm jealous sometimes. Like, I wish I felt more confident in my own body sometimes, especially when you can't help if something bothers you, can you? And that's
No.
it.
And that's why I'd say again, with society, you can't point your finger at somebody for not being happy with something and wanting to do something about it. That's why the beauty industry is a multi-million billion pound industry. There are so many treatments and creams and different things out there. So it'd be nice to just dissect a little bit, like what's worth spending your money on, I guess.
Yeah.
Are there certain things that you should just disregard, or are there some things that are like worth investigating a bit further? I find that sort of stuff exciting.
Oh, I do, and I think it's nice to hear what other people have done, to get a bit of an idea of what they've done to make themselves feel better as well, and how you come to terms with your new body, really, because
Yeah,
a lot of us have stretch marks and things like that, and it is embracing it to a certain level, but also it's kind of thinking about, well, what can I do to make me feel a bit more confident around this personally. I think, around the stretch mark side of things, I absolutely love seeing all of those positive pictures of like tiger stripes and things like that. But there will be people out there as well that are insecure around that
yeah,
kind of thing as well.
yeah,
And yes, it's brilliant. Like you said, we've had babies and it's great. And I'm so blessed. I wouldn't swap my C-section scar for Olivia in a million years. But I would like to feel more confident
yeah,
inside and
yeah,
outwardly as well. And
yeah.
you know,
And I've always had this little thing about treatments. So I have so many appointments. Connor can't believe it. He'll go, what appointment have you got today? Because I love going for a treatment. It's like a little thing for myself. I like finding a treatment and thinking, oh, that's going to work for that. I'll do a little course of those and just see what
yeah,
happens. And there's so much out there now that I actually do find that topic quite exciting.
yeah, that's brilliant.
When I got my first job, when I was sort of, I think I was actually 12. I think it was illegal, but I got my first part-time job when I was really young, and I remember getting my pay cash in hand, obviously because it was illegal, and I worked in a cafe, I think, and I'd go to Boots, and because it was all new to me because I was so young, I'd go up and down the aisles and I'd be like, "Wow, there's a cream for that." And oh,
Yeah.
it's like, "What's this?" And I'd go up to the woman behind the till and be like, "What's this? What do you do with this?" And I was just so intrigued by it all. And we live in a society now, don't we, where there's endless amounts of treatments, products, things we can invest in, little courses we can do, before and afters. So yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah. Oh, I'd
it,
love to talk about all that. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually scheduled for a bit of Botox actually later this afternoon, and I've been dragging it out. I've been dragging my heels with it really for as long as possible, so I need to get that in. And we did speak last time about you not having
yes.
that yet, so I
Yeah.
think we should talk about what you've done instead of,
Yeah, I
as
have found a
well.
few I found a few useful things whilst I've been breastfeeding that I've done instead of Botox, so I can let you know what
Oh
they are.
yeah, I know a few ladies that'll be interested in that. So thanks everybody for watching. And if you've got any questions around the health and fitness and nutrition side, then Katie is your woman. If there's anything else that you want to share, anything about how you feel about your bodies as well, how do you feel? Are you happy with how your body is after having a baby? I'd love to hear everyone's different kind of stories on how they feel as
Yeah.
well, because I think that'd be interesting.
Definitely. And also anyone's tips, how they managed to get exercise into the new routine, or if they found any like new exercise, types of exercise that worked really well with a baby. I'd love to, because I don't know everything about having a young baby. There's people who have had more babies than me out there who will have lots of bits of advice. So I'd love to hear those as well.
Yeah, so send us in anything that you want us to share. You can do it anonymously. Every time I say that word, I always think I'm going to say it wrong. I'm going to say it wrong. Anonymously, you can share, or if you want us to read out your name, we will do that too. So thank you so much again, Katie, and you can get Katie's links at the bottom of this podcast episode. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of 50 Shades of Motherhood. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. We'll be back next week with more mum chats, more honest, raw, real, unapologetic, uncensored mum chats, and I can't wait. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And also, if you did particularly like this one, don't forget to leave us a little review. It really does do us the world of good with our rankings for our podcast. And finally, if you have something that you want to share with either myself or Katie, then please feel free to message us on the links at the bottom of this podcast. Anyway, we look forward to speaking to you next time on 50 Shades of Motherhood.